Welcome back, ladies. This is Women in Business Wednesday, and this week I have the pleasure of speaking with Danni Grayson from Danni Grayson's Photography. Welcome, Danni.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I have a day off, so I'm able to, you know, relax, relate, release until
Oh,
tomorrow when I have a ton of things to do. So,
yeah, that's all good. So, Danni, you are a photographer.
hmm
And it's funny because we met because I asked Tiffany, my real estate friend, who she knew that was a
Danni,
who was a badass photographer, badass woman photographer, and she gave me your name. Um,
thank you.
so tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been in photography? What made you decide to get into it? Like, give us some
Mhm.
background.
Okay. Wow. Let me see if I can wrap this short story up. I'm born and raised here in Maryland. I started photography 8 years ago, but I feel like I've always had a camera in my hand. I just didn't know that it was going to become this. And the reason why I had a camera in my hand is because I was creating memories for myself with my daughter. I had a miracle child who had a neuromuscular disease, and she was diagnosed with that at 8 months old. And I was told that she would not live to be a year old. Well,
Wow.
when she turned a year old, the doctor was like, "Well, most kids don't live in till two." And when she passed two, and then she turned 15, they were like, "Yo, she's just not a textbook kid." I was like, "Yes, she's my kid, so
Yeah.
she's definitely not a textbook kid." But she did pass away at the age of 15. She passed away
Oh,
peacefully in her sleep. But in those 15 years, we had the most wonderful times. And I always had a camera in my hand, or I was videotaping everything. We videotaped all of her successes. Every birthday, and because we had a big party every year, birthday, everything. And so that's I would say that's really just how it started because I wanted to create memories. I literally have trash bags full of photos. I have
wow.
photo albums and I just have so many memories. And so fast forward to I just said one day I want a camera. I just want to take pictures. That's all I want to do. That's all I wanted to do, right? So I started doing that and I started loving it. And it was just really for me. And people would say, "Do you have a card?" And I was like, "No, I'm not doing that." They were like, "You should start a business." I'm like, "No." And then uh one of my girlfriends, I actually I work full time, and I do photography part time. And one of my girlfriends was like, "You need to start a business." And I was like, No. And then something happened in the workplace where I lost some money. Like, my income was going to drop. And I was like, "Oh, we're going to have to fix this." And so I said, "Well, maybe this is a good time to start a business." And she was like, "I told you." So shout out to Kristen Allen, also a friend of Tiffany Tomney's, right?
Okay.
So I started the business and it just took off. Like I wasn't ready. I just wasn't ready. And I said, "Okay, I'm starting a business." But then it just really took off. But what happened was I found this happy place because it wasn't just photography. It felt like a ministry because when I would
Mm.
have young women or women of all ages stand in front of me and say, "Well, I just wanted a photo shoot because I want to feel beautiful." Or when I have women who have beat breast cancer stand in front of me and say, "I just want to show how victorious I am."
Oh,
You
wow.
know, when I have graduates stand in front of me who struggled and, now they're being photographed because they made it. Or, people that have, high school, college, doctorate degrees. I've had, a variety of people. And just to be able to document those successes was just I can't even describe the feeling that I have. And so when I book a session, all I want to do is make sure people have a good time.
Yeah.
That's really it, because it shows in your photos, number one. But I just want to make them feel like, they are the only people in the world. That's my goal. So
Yeah,
yeah,
when we did
to
mine, we had
create.
so much fun.
We did. We did. I just want to create an experience, not just a memory, but to create an experience for someone. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you were saying that, it just really made me think about my grandfather, and like he
Hmm.
would take, like he was the photographer of the family, right? So he would
Yeah.
take all the, I have books and books of pictures, you know what I'm saying, that my grandfather
Hmm.
took. Like I have pictures of me and my sister as babies and black and white, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, all these different, and like people don't realize, especially probably the younger generation,
Hmm.
doesn't even understand like how valuable like a photo is, like an actual a
Absolutely.
printed out photo on photo paper, like
Yeah.
because those are like almost extinct,
I
right?
know. I know. And I actually wish that I started when film, when I wish I started in film, meaning I took pictures in film and I actually, developed them myself. I didn't. I came on board in the digital age. I'm not mad at
Yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
But I think the experience of and the authenticity in film, and film is still around. I probably could go back and do it, but I'm comfortable with in the digital world. But
Right.
but to hold that photo in your hand, right? To hold that photo in your hand is priceless. I just a few days ago, I pulled out a couple of photos of my nephew and myself, and he's like my son, so he's my nephew's son, and he's turning 21 this coming Saturday, and I have pictures of him actually in my daughter's arms,
Oh, wow.
right? So these are priceless moments that you can't get back as a feeling, but when you look at that photo you can remember how you felt when it happened, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's dope. And I'm taking a photography class now
Are
on it's
you?
online, yeah. But
Hmm.
I mean, it's something about it. It's because it's art,
It
and
is art.
so, and
It
we talked
is.
about how like I do art, so like that's just another form of artistry. And
Yeah.
I want to learn, how to take great pictures,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You're doing better than me because I didn't take a class until later on. Right. I said, I want a camera, because I didn't know it was going to be a business. So I mean, and you never stop learning. It's
Yeah.
always something wonderful to learn. And there's so many different types of photography out there. I mean, you have real estate photography, you have portrait photography, headshots, you have lifestyle photography, you have boudoir, you have wedding photography. There's so many forms, street photography. There's so many forms of photography. It's insane. And I think I wanted to be all of them all at once.
Okay. So
And then
do you have like a main genre now?
I do. I've pretty much narrowed it down to lifestyle, lifestyle photography. So I have a small studio, and I do some outdoor shots as well. I've done boudoir. I still do boudoir, but I've done boudoir. I've done, of course, family. I do headshots, but pretty much anything. Babies, meaning not infants, but toddlers. I should say toddlers.
Okay, why not
Um,
infants?
that's a ministry. And don't get me wrong, I love babies. Um, I think as I mature, I don't have the tolerance as much. And it's funny because babies are bosses. They tell you when they're going to do whatever they want
They
to
run the
do. Oh, they run the
situation.
show. So if it's a 1 hour shoot and the baby says, "Oh no, I'm not going to act right until we're at the 2 hour mark," yeah, yeah,
Yeah, okay. I got
yeah.
you.
But I've seen some dope infant photographers that are just phenomenal, and I was like, wow,
Yeah.
it's insane. Yeah, but I take them 6 months and up.
Okay, okay. You like
Just not.
I can do 6 months because you
Yeah,
got a little bit
yeah,
more.
6 months and up.
They can understand what you're trying to
Yeah,
get them to
if
do a
they can
little bit.
sit up. Yeah,
Yeah.
they sit up and they're cute and demanding at the same time, but they can sit up. But those infants, listen, if you think you are in charge of anything, let the infants come in. You will have a whole. It will. They're gonna change your whole attitude.
Oh, right, yeah. That definitely won't be for me. But
You got
anyway.
company.
So you said you started 8 years ago. I mean, you started
Mhm.
professionally 8 years ago, right?
Mhm.
And so now, like,
So let me make a little quick correction.
sure,
I started professionally 8 years ago, but I didn't feel like a professional until probably my fifth year.
okay,
Because, and I say that because, literally everything was trial and error.
yeah, absolutely,
And I recall looking back, I recall um, doing a master class, right? And or taking a master class and listening to some of the things that they said. And one of the things that they said is always go back and look at your work. And so at like the 5 year mark, when I went back to look at my work, I was like, somebody pay me for that. You know, like what I mean, but it's always a learning experience, right?
yeah,
But I just recall when I first started, there were two people that I reached out to, Paul Taylor and Matt Anderson. I remember those two specifically. They're awesome photographers. And I remember Paul saying, just have a good time. And I was like, okay, like, what should I do? He's like, just have a good time. And then when I talked to Matt, he said, sis, just have fun. I'm like, that's it. but but that really was it, because it should be a good experience, right?
yeah,
And then I started to learn the technical side of photography
okay,
and settings and
like,
lighting
yeah, that's what
and
I'm
that was
learning
some of that
now.
was. Oh, yes, it's
Aperture.
very important. Aperture, oh my gosh.
See, I've been taking a
ISO,
class.
shutter speed, all of that stuff is and one without the other, and one how one complements the other. Oh yeah, have fun. Have fun. But it's just been a great experience and a great ride. It really has
Okay.
been.
And and then this, we're speaking most of the time to women or just entrepreneurs, period, not just women entrepreneurs,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
entrepreneurs. So
Mhm.
one of the questions that I always ask is that what would you tell with someone who's considering like being a photographer, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
saying maybe making this their only career. Like
Mhm.
what would be your biggest piece of advice to that person?
The biggest piece of advice I would say is feel the fear and do it anyway. That's
Mm,
number one. And because there will be some scary moments. The second piece that I would say, and it probably should be number one, is find a mentor or a mentoring group, people who do what you do and who don't mind helping you. And I say that because just recently I joined a group called the Peculiar Collective, and it's a huge group of photographers who really just come together. We help each other, we lift each other up. We're all in the photography business, photography or videography, and it's been, I can't even tell you what I've gotten from them in such a short period of time. And the group is growing and growing and growing. And right here in Maryland.
okay.
And right here in Maryland, I believe it started here in Maryland, and we have members in multi-state, like across the country, which is awesome. So I would advise that person to get involved with a group because you can learn from them. You want to be around people who do what you do,
Yeah.
right? Like, so, you have real estate agents, they kind of stick together, or,
Yeah.
whatever
Insurance
you do,
agents, we stick together.
insurance
Yeah.
agents, because you're learning from each other, you're gleaning from each other, and photography is no different.
Right.
So
So that, I mean, and that's just a
absolutely.
word of advice, whether it's photography or any other field.
Mhm.
Like you want to get
Mhm.
around people that doing what you're doing and then can also
Mhm.
help you
Mhm.
elevate your game, right? Because
Yeah.
when you said at the beginning, like we're always learning, right? And so
Mhm.
it's always it's levels to this, to levels to
Yeah,
everything.
there's always levels. Yeah, I mean, and then there are things that you need to learn, like getting your license, getting setting up a workflow for yourself, setting up a delivery for yourself. Like once you take the pictures, this is how I deliver it to my clients.
You need
Just
a license?
contracts. Well, a business license.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's for your business name.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
So I need a license. just knowing which website, what type of website do I need? How do I collect my payments? What should I have in my contracts? Just
Wow.
trying to narrow down what you want to shoot because there are so many opportunities.
Right.
I kind of listed them before. It's so many opportunities. So just kind of, and some people just dabble in a little bit of everything until they find it, like me,
Yeah. Yeah.
until I find that, like I'm not, um, there's one area that's just not my preference, but I still deliver the services because I know I can do it and I do it well. And I grab somebody and go with me and we just knock it out.
Okay.
And it's always good. So, but I would definitely say, yeah, getting mentoring, training, taking courses is all important in honing your craft and, perfecting it.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
That's great advice. And it's funny
Yeah.
because every woman that's been on here basically said like
Hmm.
you're going to be scared to do it anyway.
Oh
Like
yeah. Oh yeah. But I mean, because in the beginning, like I said, I didn't want to do it, and I was like, I'm not starting a business. Oh, let me tell you a funny story. And you've been in my studio, so you know what it looks like. So down in my studio, I wanted to, women, we have a lot of clothes, and all this stuff. I'm like, I'm gonna build a closet. So I'm talking to my girlfriend, our mutual friend with Tiffany, Kristen Allen, and I said, I'm gonna build a closet. And she's looking at me. She said, You gonna build a closet? I said, Yeah, I'm gonna build a closet. She says, So you can put your clothes in it. I said, Yeah. So you can look at them? I said, Yeah. She said, Girl, you better build a studio.
I love it.
And I'm like, Oh,
You're like, that's probably a good idea.
build a studio. And what happened was, you remember when COVID hit, you had a lot of wedding photographers who were just shut down.
Mm,
Parties were shut down, like events. We couldn't go out and shoot events. I
right.
wasn't going out there. I was not going out there to shoot an event.
Yeah.
Mask or no mask, I stayed my happy hips home. However, then things started to shift. I'm like, well, what can I do to be safe and still be able to deliver services? And so I just put a protocol, I checked temperatures and asked the questions, and I wore my mask. I double mask. I only came in one door. I sanitized from the door to the floor, between every client. I do that anyway, but I mean, like extra, real extra,
Yeah.
like, like OCD-ish, right?
Right.
And just to make sure everybody was safe. And it was a successful time for me because I kept going. People were, I mean, I work so much. I work myself crazy. And, it was just a wonderful experience to be able to still deliver those services in a time like that. So,
Yeah.
shout out to Kristen Allen, who said, "Girl, you better build a studio and forget about that closet." And I did, and I was able to still work during that time. People said, "Well, I can't have a party. Can I come? I want to do a photo shoot. I want to celebrate me." And I had a whole lot of people who didn't have parties come through. So
That's
yeah,
dope. Okay, that's dope.
absolutely.
So, Danny, if somebody wants to book you, right, how do they
Mhm.
get in touch with you?
They can go to dannigraysonphotography.com. You can book through there. And I don't even know my own phone number. Isn't that a shame? Uh, Wait a minute. Let me grab this card. Or they can reach out to Danny
You want me
Grayson
to tell them
Photography.
what your phone number is?
Yeah, listen.
So if you want to get
Now,
in touch, with Danny,
look, I
her
have my
phone
card in front of
number
me now.
is 410
Mhm.
615 2149.
Right.
For your records,
And
Danny.
right. I'm on IG at dannigraysonphotography.com. I'm on Facebook at Danny Grayson Photography. And what else? Oh, child. When you get old and can't see.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Um,
So
my
listen,
social.
I can vouch for your work. If they go to my social
You.
media page, it's a bunch of pictures that you took like in your studio and outside, and they turned out great.
And we had a
So
ball.
yeah, I mean, and
And you have to come back.
I definitely will. And then I look at, what I'm saying, I look at your page and look at the new photos. Like I'm just like, oh, I want like all of them. I'm like, I want to do a photo shoot like that, right?
And I'm upgrading to a new website, so that's coming soon. So
Okay.
I'm really I'm excited about quite a few things that I can't say right now. But
Okay.
yeah,
Just stay
it's
tuned
God,
and keep
God is so
watching.
good. He
Okay.
truly is
And
good,
then
and
too,
I
let me just
appreciate
also say, like,
this
you
gift.
delivered, like, I got the photos back super fast, like
Hmm.
faster than I expected. Like, so it was a great experience. So if you're wondering if you should use her, absolutely use her. Um
Thank you. I think sometimes I'm probably more excited to get to the photos than the client is to seeing them. I'm like, I gotta hurry up and see what this work is so I can fix,
yeah, yeah,
edit it
yeah.
and get it back to them. Right.
Yeah, I love
It's a
that.
wonderful
So,
time.
Danny, thank you so much for getting on Women in Business Wednesday. I
You're
appreciate you.
welcome.
I'm definitely going to come back again because I got some new
Thank
hair
you.
and I'm losing weight. So I want to
Well,
definitely
I
do
need to
another
get on that
photo shoot.
bandwagon.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
All right, beautiful. I love you. Thank you
Love
again.
you too.
And
Take
if
care.
we're always looking, ladies or gentlemen, we're always looking for women in
Hmm.
business every single week to put on the show. So if you know of anyone, hit me up, put it in the comments. But we're looking for more women in business. So have a great week, and we'll see you in 2 Wednesdays from now. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.